Well, I screwed up. Show you exactly what I did and a perfect time to re-hone the surface of our brand new table saw. I'm Rick, and this
Shut the heck up, you stinking roosters. Down up for your sanity.
This is the shack. Hey everybody, welcome. Yep, kind of screwed up a brand new table saw. I'm glad I checked it when I did because we actually left today to spend time with family, and if I didn't check it, it would have been all day left like this. It probably could have done some damage. What I did was this blue glue up mat was kind of dirty, and I was getting ready to glue up 2 more of my cutting boards. These are the first project on the brand new table saw. I thought that'd be the perfect thing to do to test out the horsepower and brand new saw blade, cutting some 8/4 hardwood. That'd be a good test for it. So this was a little bit dirty, took it outside, I rinsed it off. Dried it off, I thought, but being that it was just clean, it might have a little moisture. So I decided to just throw a towel down on top of the table saw, lay this on top of it, and glue up my last 2 cutting boards. Came out here, checked it this morning before we left to go spend the day with the family. When I lifted up the towel, I saw this. See all the brown on that? That's rust. Yeah, all over my table saw. Now it's probably hard to see on camera, but this area right here, literally this whole area here was brown. And I had another section on the other side over here, which you can't see, maybe about a 6 to 8 inch diameter that was brown, but all this was brown. So I immediately started to panic. Got a brand new table saw, I got it ruined. Threw everything off as quickly as possible, shot WD-40 on it, didn't even wipe it down with mineral spirits, and immediately got my 400 grit and started sanding the top down, getting the rust off. Came off pretty good because it didn't have time to really seat in. It was just surface rust. It was just starting, thank you Lord. Got all that off, wiped it down, cleaned it off, reshot everything with WD-40 and left it for the rest of the day. I didn't want to leave it dried. So what I'm going to do, this is the perfect opportunity to show you just how I did hone my tabletop to a glass-like feel. But this time around, I'm actually going to do one step more. If you get a brand new table saw, this is something I highly recommend, suggest you do before you add the rails on. Once you get the table assembled and get your cast iron tops on, do yourself a huge favor. Hone the whole top down, sand it down with 400 grit, then to 1000 grit. One of the viewers suggested 1000 and I didn't do that. I'm going to do it on this one. So we're going to clean this all off. Now that I have the rails already mounted on here, we're going to act like this was a yearly maintenance, because I would do that with my vintage table saw depending on how much I used it that year. I would hone the top, spray the top down, use some 400 grit, just get the brightness back, get it smooth again, anything that was on there, gunk stuff, using it through the year, get it all cleaned off, bring it back to a nice, luster, beautiful, clean beginning again, and I'll be good to go for another year or so. Because we have the rails, I'm going to tape off the front and tape off the end here where the wood is. Don't want to get oil and stuff on that. So when we're sanding, going back and forth, honing the top, if we have any oil buildup and we bring it back to the end, it spills off. It's not going to get all over the rails. We're going to have it taped off so it just goes to the tape and we keep everything clean. But even if the shadows are after it's done, as long as it's smooth, I'm not going to worry about it. I just freaked out because I had this whole brown area up here and I was like, oh my God, I ruined my brand new table saw. Don't know what I was thinking. I didn't think there was that much moisture that would draw through that silicone mat into the towel and get into my table, so I didn't really think that. Reposition the camera. I'm going to time lapse this so you don't have to watch through 10 minutes of it. I'm going to do 10 minutes of 400 grit. Wipe it down, respray it, do 10 minutes of 1000 grit, and then we'll be right back. That's it. We are at 11 minutes, 29 seconds. When I started this in, I go there. If it ended at 10 minutes in any of this process, I would continue to the end, come back to make a full sweep back and forth. So I started this in, I finish it this in, and I finished in 11 minutes, 29 seconds. Oh my gosh, we are done. 10 minutes, 23 seconds, so we did good. As long as it's 10 minutes, we're okay. Just gonna help smooth out the miter slot here. Just a few times up and down. This is just very, very smooth. Very smooth. This thing, man, that is just silky smooth. But the main thing is the rust is gone. I got it back. I went 400, then 1000 grit, really put a smooth finish on it. And I did the miter slots here a little bit. I can feel those. Those feel pretty smooth actually. I think we're good to go. Now, if you have the 10 coat tabletop, do not do this stuff. One of my viewers, something happened. I don't know if there's an issue because I don't have the 10 coat. I almost purchased the 10 coat just because it would match the ink fin system. So the gold tone top would match the gold tone ink fin system. And I think it would be a very nice combination. But I don't want to spend the extra money because, again, this was buying the best I could get on a budget. Trying to keep it minimal. Didn't want to spend $5 grand on a soft stop. That just wasn't in the forecast. I know some of the people who have the 10 coat have actually had issues with rust, and that 10 coat is supposed to resist the rust, yet they've gotten it. And I know one gentleman said he tried to do a little slight sanding on the surface to get rid of it, and he went through the 10 coat, so as the metal there. I would not suggest doing that. If you have any issue at all with the rust coming through on a 10 coat tabletop, definitely contact Harvey before you do anything. I wouldn't touch it because that is supposed to be a preventative measure. But on these, definitely. That's why I went ahead and purchased the regular tabletop, because that's all I've ever had. And for me, every year or so, depending on how much I used my vintage table saw, this one I will definitely be using more, so it probably will be a yearly event. Wipe it all down, spray it down, hone it real quick to bring back the luster, get any marks, scratches that's been made on it during the year, and just give it that smooth top again for another year of use. So now you see exactly how I'm going to do my yearly maintenance now, because I had to do this with the rails on. And if you have a brand new table saw, doesn't matter the model. If you have a brand new table saw and it doesn't feel glass smooth out of the box, I highly suggest doing this because it just takes it to that next level. All your jigs and things will slide on the top much easier. But I do always add a little extra on my jigs. I put my wax underneath, a little bit of wax on them, and sometimes, depending if I'm just cutting sheet goods, I'll do that on the tabletop, just scribe a few marks on the saw tabletop with the wax. That also helps the material glide over the top. Always have a little tricks and things you do to ensure its smoothness. This is back in shape, ready for more work. I've learned my lesson, definitely. That's why I'm going to make a cover for this, so I never have to do that again. With that, thank you so much for watching. Be blessed. Take back your shack for your sanity. Make sure you subscribe and ring the bell, because I have my next project right behind the camera. I got a sheet of plywood. We're going to make a really nice crosscut sled based on a gentleman who made one for his Laguna Fusion 2 table saw. I think they actually feature him now, but I like the idea of cutting some of it away, minimizing the weight. But I'm going to have my spin on it. So thanks again for watching. We will see you next video.